So I finally got my hands on the new Motorguide Xi3 Kayak Edition trolling motor. I got it installed this week, so this week's video I'm going to show you guys how I installed it so that I can deploy it and stow it from a seated position. That way I don't have to walk all the way to the front of the kayak. I want to also show you guys how I got everything mounted so I can quick disconnect it, take it off for travel, and how I plan on using this in conjunction with the Bixby motor that I'm going to be using for the Mirage Drive. So that's all coming up in today's video. Y'all stick around. All right, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, my name's TJ. Welcome to Kayak USA. So this is the new Xi3 Kayak Edition trolling motor by Motorguide. So the first thing I want to explain in this video is, yes, this trolling motor has been out for a while, but over the last couple of years, Motorguide has actually listened to the kayak anglers of the community, and they've made their own kayak edition. So the difference between this one, which is the Kayak Edition Xi3, and the old school Xi3, I say old school, it was actually only out for the past, I think, 5 years, but the only difference is they shortened the length. And the reason they done this was because when these trolling motors first come out, they were over $2,000 a piece, because you're actually paying for like the GPS pinpoint and all that anchor stuff. And all of that is built into this one unit. And they built these for bass boats, and kayak anglers like myself and many of you decided they wanted to start putting bow mount trolling motors on their kayaks. So everybody started looking around. I even used some older kayak trolling motors back in the day. I think I chopped up some Dakota spot lock ones, and I used those. But people narrowed it down in the community to the best one to get was this Xi3, because it has a small footprint. It's pretty lightweight compared to other trolling motors on the market, and you could stow it and deploy it. People kind of figured out how to actually deploy it off your kayak without having to walk up here and step on the foot pedal. Anyway, this was the one everybody went with, but the price was, like I said, between $1,500 to $2,000. And the first thing people were doing in the kayak community was chopping the shaft down. So you would go out and you would buy this $2,000 trolling motor, and then you would bring it home, take it apart, and cut the shaft in half, and immediately voiding the warranty. So if you had any future problems with it, Motorguide couldn't help you, because the first thing you did was chopped it in half when you bought it from them. So you can't really blame them. But they listened, and they decided to not make the kayak anglers void their warranties by creating this, I think it's a 36-inch shaft. It's perfectly designed. Just about any kayak you can put these on, it will fit perfect on the front. The height is just right. So this is the perfect bow mount trolling motor from the community. The community actually chose and built this, and now we have it thanks to Motorguide. Now, by the way, this is not sponsored at all. This is just a really good trolling motor. It's been around for a while. My dad has one. He's actually got two. He's got one on his small boat and one on his bay boat, and we've always loved these Xi3s. So that's why I went with this one. It's the Kayak Edition also, so it's really short. I don't have to modify it, and I get to keep my warranty. But not only that, you can pair these with their quick disconnects. So I'm going to show you really quick, and I am going to take you guys off the tripod, walk you around the full hookup, show you how I can deploy it and stow it from a seated position. Now, I do want to say I didn't come up with any of these ideas. Well, I put a spinning touch on one of them. I'll show you this really neat. But other than that, everybody else on YouTube has already figured this out. I got most of these ideas from Gene over at Fluke Masters. Y'all go check him out. He has done this for the past couple of years. He kind of perfected how these are mounted on the front of his kayak. I think he fishes Bonafide though. So this is actually on the PA-14. But I'll show you really quick before I take you guys off and show you everything, how I got it mounted. This is the power cable. So when I'm ready to take this off my kayak, if I don't want to take this trolling motor, I unplug it, and I'll show you where I installed the plug. And I've got this cable right here. It's just paracord. Then I'm going to unhook my foot pedal from my kayak like that. We're going to pull this quick disconnect pin just like this. And now we can take this off, and I could leave it here. If I didn't want to bring it with me, I could leave it here, or if I want to pull my kayak down the highway, which I probably will do, is I will take the trolling motor off, put it in the back seat where it's safe. I know nothing can happen to it, and this is how I will tow my boat. So At the front of my kayak, you can see how I've got it mounted. This is the one objective trolling motor mount. This is a quick mount. You don't have to drill any holes into your kayak. I'll have them linked below, but this is the best way to go. This is the way everyone else is going, and they're not just for the Hobie Pro Anglers. Now this one is for the Hobie PA14, but if you get on their website, they got a full line of different plates and different adapters, and they got probably one for your kayak. You know, depending on what kayak you got, get on there. And if you can't find what you need on there for your kayak, you can reach out to them. I've talked to them a couple of times, you know, through the internet, and they're really cool guys. You know, they got a YouTube channel and stuff like that, so check them out. If you want to mount a trolling motor, odds are they're going to have the mount system for you, so go check them out. On top of that, I added this Motorguide quick disconnect, which you just seen me use, and all it is a plate, and that plate has pins, has holes that goes through it when you line it up and drop it on here. This pin right here slides on, and you can even put a padlock on it so nobody could come by and snatch this out and take your trolling motor off your kayak. So it works really well. Let me add the trolling motor back on really quick, and I'll show you how I mounted everything. And as you can see, I mean, it's got some weight to it, but it's not like the trolling motor that's on my bass boat. You know, it doesn't weigh a ton. And what's cool is you just get it up here, set it on there, put the pin in. If I can do this from one side of the boat, I didn't mean to yell in the mic. All right, so now I've got my power cable here. That's how quick I just got it on. Now, it is locked on and cannot come off. So now I'm gonna just drop my power cable down the side. Now, I'm the type of guy, if you follow my channel for a long time, I like to drill as few holes as possible. So that's what I did on this install. I think I got away with only drilling 2 holes installing this whole thing. 2 holes is all no, just 2 holes. And that was the full install for this thing, you know. So you can do it if you don't like drilling holes in your kayak. There's ways you can do it without drilling holes, but I wanted to make sure everything was dialed in, so I did it the best way I could. So I'm gonna lay that cable there. I'm gonna hook this back up. Oh, if I don't deploy my trolling motor onto my trailer. All right, let's hook this back up. Now, I'm gonna take you guys off the tripod really quick, walk you through it and show you how I decided to mount it for the stow and go and stuff like that. All right, so here is a good shot of the front disconnect. As you can see, here's the pin. You pull it out and you push it in to lock it. Now, this is where I was talking that you could actually put a padlock. So you push this in, and then you can put a padlock right there and actually lock this onto your kayak where somebody just can't come pull this pin and take it off in the parking lot or anything like that. Here is my power cable. Now, all I did here was just wrap some of that, it's like rod tube stuff where I make rod tubes out of. I had some left on a spool. I just kind of wrapped it up to pretty it up a little bit. And here is where I decided to put my plug. Now, it's got a waterproof housing. This is made by, I think it's a company called Marine Co. I actually picked these plugs up at Bucks Island Marina. I'll link them in the video description if I can get the links to them, and you can pull them off the interweb from there if you want to, but it's got a female and a male. It's just a double connector, and if you can look really close, if this thing will focus, it's got an O-ring there. So when I plug up my trolling motor, it's like a 2-prong push in and twist. Let's see, where's it at? There you go. You put it in, you twist it, and it locks it in a position where it won't come out, and that's how I plug up the trolling motor. So it's easy for me to just grab it, pull it off, and then unplug it, and then if I don't take it with me, I can watertight seal my outlet and, you know, not mess anything up. So let's go around this side. I'm trying not to stretch this video out too long for you guys. All right, so coming over here, here is how I decided that I was going to stow and go it. So like I said, Gene over at Fluke Master, he's got some good footage of how he done his, and I kind of copied him in a way. But what he done is he added a pull cord that you could pull, and it would actually, I ran the cable through the kayak, and as you can see, I got it, here's one of the holes that I drilled, and I got the cable coming up. It's just some paracord. I drilled a little hole in the foot, and then I put this carabiner on there so I could quick disconnect it when I wanted to take it off. But what you do is when I pull my cable, it'll pull this foot pedal down, and I've only got one hand, so I'm not gonna do it and deploy my motor, but it pulls the foot pedal down and actually deploys the motor off the front of the kayak. And I'll show you the cable I ended up going with. So if you're familiar with the Hobie Pro Angler, they have this cable right here. So there's a couple of pull cords on this kayak. They got this one that is the skeg. They got one over here that is the rudder, and I use both of those. But then they have this one right here, and it is for, if it'll focus, the seat. And I don't ever use the seat, but it's designed like, if you look back here, if you pull that, there used to be a cord that come out of here, hooked to the seat, and you could lower your seat on the kayak. I never, ever, ever use it at all. I always have a ton of stuff stuffed up under my seat, and I never pull that seat cord to lower it because I never need the seat in a lower position. So I decided, instead of drilling a new hole, I was just going to use the seat one. So what I did was I got inside the kayak, I unhooked the cable from the seat, rerouted it up front. I had to extend it with some paracord and pulled it straight out of the top through the little hole that I drilled. And now when I pull this, it will deploy the motor. And I'll have to put the camera up in just a minute to show you. But when I pull this, it will actually deploy the motor out. And then I've got this hooked to the kayak. This is that paracord I told you about earlier. And I've actually got it hooked to a bracket. Now this is a bracket that I've had in a drawer for a while. If you've followed me for a really long time, you remember this. I actually used this to steer my trolling motor on the back of the Vibe for a long time. I could hook my steering to each side. It's like a V, and that's how I would steer the trolling motor. Anyway, I had this in a drawer, and I just connected it to the shaft. And the reason I went with this is, and I learned this from watching Fluke Master, is you don't want to pull the motor up from the center. Because what happens when you pull the trolling motor up from the center, the motor always decides to come up like this with a prop up in the air. And when it does that, it will never deploy sideways like this. You have to be able to turn the head of the trolling motor to get it to slide up in position. But if you pull at it from an angle to one side like this, and I'll show you in just a minute on the tripod, when you pull it like this, it automatically twists the trolling motor and pulls it right up every single time without a hitch. It does really well. But the way I'm powering this thing is I went to Bucks Island Marina, and I bought some 10 gauge, and I know a lot of you guys are gonna be like, you should have went with 8 gauge. Well, if this was a 24 volt trolling motor, which this is not, this is a 55 pound, 12 volt trolling motor. They only call for 10 gauge wire. Now, I wanted to go with a 8 gauge if I was gonna add other batteries to it, but that's just not in the books. I don't plan on running anything else off of this battery except for this trolling motor, so 10 gauge is perfect. And I was able to go with a marine wire. It's 2 wires together. It's made for bass boats. So I use 10 gauge wire, run all the way up to this plug through the kayak, and I'll show you right back here. I've got it coming out right, let's see if I can zoom in for you. Right, where's my zoom? There it is. I installed a Yak Attack. I don't know why I won't focus on that, but that is a Yak Attack through mount, and I ordered some of those straight from Yak Attack, and I just come out with the wire right there, as you can tell, and it comes up and hooks to this smart box. And I got this from Bucks Island Marina too. Let's see if I can show you. It's one of these marine smart boxes. It's got the terminals on the outside. And I went with that because I wanted to be able to add some extra ports to the side of the box. And it comes with the little 12 volt cigarette lighter ports, but I wanted to redo them. So on this side, I put 2 USB ports because I just so happen to also keep my camera mount right here. So if I want to use something off this battery, I can. So I can just plug up my phone or my camera to the side of it. It's got a little battery amp tester right here. And then I added another little SAE port to the other side. I'll have to walk around and show you. But on the inside of this box is nothing. They're actually over here, and it brings us to this week's video sponsor, which is Dakota Lithium. Guys, if you're watching this channel, you're in the fishing world, you already know that this company is just, they're a staple in the community. Not just the kayak community, but like the bass fishing community. They have 200%, twice the power of traditional batteries. They're half the weight. They charge up 5 times faster. They last 4 times longer, and they are the best lithium battery on the market for the money. You can't get a better battery than this, and I'm not just talking these guys up. If you're in the community, you know that Dakota is hands down the best. So this is what we are going to be running in the kayak, and I've got my hands on a couple of different ones. This is their new power box, and I got There's the actual box. I kept it to show you guys when I ordered it. But this is the Dakota Lithium Power Box 10. And if you order it, it comes with the USB ports, the 12-volt cigarette lighter ports, even got like, it lights up on the top, says Dakota Lithium. It's got your double prongs right here for hooking stuff up, you know, if you're ice fishing or whatever. It's got a, where's my light? Ooh, bright light right there on the end, so LED lights. Your main power right here. If you open the side up, you can see, bam, it comes with their 12-volt, 10-amp-hour Dakota Lithium battery. And these come with a charger, right? Let's see, where's the charger for this one? I think it's actually in the box. No, here it is. Here's the charger that it comes with. So you don't have to buy a separate charger for the battery. It comes with everything you need to run power on your boat. You can run your graph on this. My plan for this battery right here, guys, is it's gonna be set to the side for just a few weeks until I save some more money up. And this is going to be for the Panoptic system that I do plan on adding to the kayak. It's, I gotta save some money up, but I'm gonna get the Panoptics, we're gonna add it, and this is what's gonna power the black box separately from everything else. I've actually got this 23 amp hour battery that is going to run the Garmin on the boat. These things don't weigh anything, guys. It blows my mind that this can run for 23 amp hours and it weighs what it weighs. I mean, they're super lightweight. But the main battery that we're gonna be running is this bad boy right here. And we're fixing to drop it in today's video, get it installed. But that is the 12-volt, 100 amp hour Dakota Lithium battery. Now, I think this thing only weighs, I want to say 40 pounds. I don't want to lie though. I'm not sure. It's half the weight of the traditional gel battery. And believe it or not, for a long time on my kayaks, I was actually running, not the gel battery, I was running the regular lead acid batteries behind my seat. And this can go 4 times longer. It charges faster, 5 times faster, and it's like 200% better than the traditional battery. So this is what we're gonna be running with them. They are the sponsor of this week's video. Thank you, Dakota Lithium, for sponsoring the video. Now, let's get this installed. I'm gonna put you guys back on the tripod real quick, show you how I stow and deploy this from a seated position. Then we're gonna drop the battery in, and we'll be good to go. All right, so before we drop the battery, I wanna show you guys how easy it is to stow and go. Oh, and here's the remote to the Motorguide, because I forgot to mention that this thing is wireless, and this is how it doesn't have a foot control pedal to run this thing. It is completely wireless. You just hang this around your neck. You can run it around the lake. You can set it up for patterns and run slow at certain speeds and stuff. Really cool trolling motor. I'll have some on the water stuff. It's starting to get spring here in Alabama finally, so I'll be able to get a lot of footage of this for you guys. So make sure you're subscribed so you can stay tuned for the videos coming up. And I do want to mention on the Dakota Lithium batteries, I forgot to tell you guys, they have the best warranty on the market. They have an 11-year warranty, hands down better than every other lithium battery. So be sure you check them out. I'll have them linked in the video description if you want to get your hands on some good, high-quality batteries that last forever. You won't need the warranty, but it's 11 years. I mean, they last forever. So, all right, now let me show you how I do this. This is the cord, the paracord that I've got hooked to the side, and then I got my seat. So when I'm sitting down, I'm going to pull this. It pulls the foot pedal. The motor deploys. I'm going to hang on to this, and I'm just going to slowly let it go down. You don't want to just snatch it off and let it drop hard every time, but now I can let it go forward. I can run the motor with my remote, and then when we're ready to go, I'll pull my seat again, mashing the foot pedal down, and then I'll just pull this cable up, or this paracord up. And when you pull it up, it automatically stows itself right back up. Then I just set this cord to the side. I put a carabiner on it so I could kind of clip it there, but I'll show you again. And it's every single time. It drops just right. When you pull it, drop it into the water, ease it down just like that, ready to pull it back up. I pull my foot pedal down, pull the motor up, lock it into position. We're good to go. It is the easiest way to run a trolling motor. I'm so glad that Fluke Master has already got this dialed in. It saved me a whole lot of time trying to figure out how I was going to do this. This works perfectly. If you're doing it, just follow what I do. Don't be ashamed to copy someone else. This is the way to go if you're going to mount this trolling motor in your kayak. All right, so now I'm going to grab that 100 amp hour battery. We're going to drop it in really quick, and that's gonna be it. That's the only thing I got left to install. The batteries come charged up already, so I don't have to worry about throwing them on the charger. And they also come with their own charger, like I mentioned. So if you order you a Dakota lithium battery, don't worry about looking on Amazon for a charger. They have the right charger for every battery that they send out. They're all a little different, so you're gonna get the right charger for your battery. So I'm gonna drop that in real quick, and then we'll be done with this week's video. I'm gonna drop my Dakota lithium in here. I'll show you from this side now that the battery's in. And here's that little bracket I was just mentioning. It's just a little angle bracket. That it's not gonna focus back there, but it's a little piece of angle aluminum that I made. And I just cut it out, drilled me a hole, and I mounted it to this T-track. And the other side actually is mounted to the bottom of this battery box. Plus I got these bungees holding it. It's not going anywhere. Now we can test the battery by pushing this button here. As you can see, she's ready. Let's see if we plug it up. This will be the first time it's gotten power to it since I bought it. All right, she's ready to rock and roll, guys. All right, my Motorguide Xi3 Kayak trolling motor is installed and ready to hit the water. Like I said, stay tuned. I'm gonna be doing a lot of on the water tests with this thing. We're gonna do a speed test. I wanna do a pinpoint test, and the pinpoint is what Motorguide calls kind of like their Minn Kota calls their spot lock, where you can just hit an anchor point and stay facing one direction no matter what, no matter about the current or the wind or anything like that. So we're gonna see how good this thing actually does. I'm gonna put it through its paces. I'm gonna make a full video just showing me out on different conditions, on different lakes and current and stuff like that. And we'll see how well this thing actually does pulling this boat around and locking it down to a position. I did tell you guys that I wanted to show you how I plan to use this with the Bixby. So if you watched last week's video, I installed, I don't know if I'm in frame right now, but I installed this bad boy right here. This is my Bixby motor, and I'm gonna use it to run around the lake to get to where I want to go. So if I put in at the boat ramp and I want to go fish a slough that's 5 miles away, I am definitely not going to turn this on, which I could, but I don't want to turn on the front bow mount trolling motor and run all the way there. I have the Bixby motor. It doesn't weigh that much. The battery and everything combined only weighs like, I don't know, like 25 or 30 pounds. So it's under my seat tucked away, and I can actually just pop it in the Mirage Drive slot, take my fins out for a minute, turn it on high, aim the boat the direction I want to go, and just cross the lake. And the whole time I'm running, I don't have to worry about steering, because I can steer with a rudder, and I can rig up, get everything ready, eat if I want to, and just shoot across the lake. Once I get to my fishing hole, I pop that out, stick it under the seat, deploy my my Motorguide, and then just start fishing using this thing. And I can't wait to do that. I can't wait to combine them together and start doing, you know, some really good tournament fishing with this thing, putting it through its paces. I'm ready. I'm itching. I've had cabin fever all winter long, so I'm ready to get out on the water. That is going to do it for this week's video, guys. If you liked it, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. If you're new, hit the subscribe button. I upload content like this all the time if you're new. So be sure you go check out my homepage. I got a ton of videos like this. I'm sure you'll find something there you like. If not, I promise you I'll upload something you do like. Just make sure you hit that subscribe button. I think the analytics show that 74% of the people who tune in every week and watch my videos are not subscribed. So I'm guilty of that. I watch a lot of people every time they upload, but I've noticed that I wasn't subscribed, so I went back and subscribed to them. So guys, hit the subscribe button. I'm not going anywhere. I'm always going to be on YouTube, so hit the subscribe button. I'm going to upload something you like. We're going to do some fishing this summer. Going to get better at this whole tournament thing, and I'm going to bring you guys with me. And yeah, that's going to do it. I'll catch you guys next Thursday at 2 o'clock. Peace.